Want to level up your leadership? Welcome to The Boss Coach.
A dash of cool, a splash of class. The boss coach leads, no time to pass. Oh, the boss coach, the leader's guide.
Okay. You know what I just thought of? That would make a really good music video, wouldn't it? Who do you think would star in that, in the music video version of my theme song? Part of me says Ryan Gosling, another part says Jack Black. I don't know. Feel free to discuss. Keep sharing my episodes until we get to 100 followers. Then I'll create a brand new theme song and we can stop having this conversation. But you would miss the old one, wouldn't you? I know you would. Well, hey, boss, how's business? How's your planning going for next year? It's time to start plotting out your projects, carrying over anything from this year and all that stuff that you might not be able to complete. You have to reprioritize as you go, obviously, because life continues to throw you curveballs. So, get on that planning. Well, thanks for listening and for clicking. My name is Patrick McGranahan. Welcome back to The Boss Coach. If you're new to the show, I encourage you, as always, to check out the podcast trailer. That is episode 100. Gives you background on what the Boss Coach podcast is all about, what I'm all about, why I'm here, etc., etc., etc. But let's jump right into today's topic, because it's a great one. Today I'm talking directly to supervisors. Everybody else, you can listen, but this is specifically for supervisors. You heard me say that in the majority of cases, when you're promoted to a supervisor from an individual contributor, there's no training. You're just thrown in. In fact, Wharton Executive Education Study shows 60% of newly promoted leaders receive no training when transitioning. 60%. And that's ridiculous. For a supervisor, this is because you're usually a high performer as an individual contributor, right? So they said, okay, you're a great IC, you're a great task leader. Now let's transition you to a people leader where you're over other individual contributors, where you have some authority. It's not necessarily something that's easy to do. I remember a joke from one of my favorite comedians, Mitch Hedberg. He said that, being a joke teller, they asked him if he could write a screenplay. And he said it's really kind of a jump. It's kind of a strange thing to ask. It would be like telling a chef, hey, you're really great at cooking. Can you farm? So understandably, it's not as easy as it sounds to go from being a really good task leader to all of a sudden being a really good people leader. Since it's not a switch you can just turn on, you are going to boot camp, Private, so get ready.
I'm your drill sergeant. Before we proceed any further, we gotta get something straight. When I tell you to move, you'll move fast. When I tell you to jump, you're gonna say how high?
All right, no worries, baby boss. I've got you. This episode is a supervisor boot camp, and it's not a substitute for full training, but for the 60% of you who get nothing else, this is better than that, right? So in the next 12 minutes or so, I promise you'll be more prepared for leadership than your peers, and it's only in 5 modules. So here we go. Module number 1, make the transition. This is the very first thing you have to do. If promoted within your team that you're currently in, it's tougher because you have maybe some existing relationships. Hopefully everybody likes you, thinks it was a good idea, but there might be some bad blood too, so you got stuff to work with there. If you're coming in from the outside, you got to build trust. They don't know who you are. They don't know you're a great leader or a great task leader, but they also don't know anything else about you. So you have to prove yourself. But there's got to be a physical change there when you make the transition. Everyone who works with you, and in this case for you, has to know that something is different. So I would recommend changing desks. If you can get an office, get an office. Dress differently. Get your head in the game. Make it very clear that you're assuming a new role here so they don't see you still as the guy that they worked with or the woman that worked alongside them, but as someone different. There has to be some type of a physical change. I would recommend that you go back and listen to the New Leader Mistakes episode, and that'll tell you a little more about how you can make that transition better. So here's an example. Let's say you're in a retail store and you get promoted. Usually there, for supervisors, they give you a different color vest, a different shirt, etc. But, make sure you have a desk or a center of operations, even if it's a counter somewhere that's yours, that's for leadership, that you can go to and keep your things. So you have a spot, you have a home, even if it's not a desk. I would reduce socialization, make sure there's no favoritism, like, hey, I worked with you, we were buddies, and now you're my top person and I'm going to give you favor. That won't work with everybody else. Make sure there's a transition meeting too. So it's very, very clear that you're a leader now. Make sure that your leader runs that meeting and says, I'm introducing you to your new supervisor. Here's what their duties are. We're going to be very clear. And then you can get that baton handoff so now they know to listen to you as a leader. Just the main thing is, as you're making that transition, even if there's some of those folks you didn't get along with, don't be a jerk about it, right? You have to treat everybody equally. So make the jump and make the transition smoothly. Module number 2 of Supervisor Bootcamp is communication. John Gordon said, where there is a void in communication, negativity will fill it. So you don't want to leave a void, so there's negativity. That means from day one, jump in and start communicating. Make it very clear that you're going to be transparent with them. Don't just quietly go about your business. Have a daily shift meeting with your team. set the tone for the day. Talk about what you need to work on or what you're supposed to be doing. If someone's doing something right or wrong, notice it to them personally, but if it's something they're doing right, then use those quick daily stand-ups to identify that and say, hey, Sally's doing an awesome job at that over there. Use it as a great opportunity not only to set the tone for the day, but also give praise. For communicating, also send emails up and down. If you're in a situation where everyone's got a company email address on your team, make sure to communicate with them your expectations. Put it in writing. That way they know it's for real. And then communicating up means telling your leaders, here's how my team is doing. Here's how the shift went. Here's how the week went. Here's how the project is going, whatever. Important thing is just be seen. And that is one of the easiest ways to set yourself apart as a supervisor and as part of leadership. So here's an example. Let's say you run the back office support team for a company. Some people are remote, some are in person, whatever, but you use Teams or Slack or one of those other communication software solutions. But make sure there's a group chat for your entire group, the people that you work with directly. Be seen there. Have a daily or several times a day posting presence in that group chat as well. Also do at least 3 times a week that stand up. Again, very, very important. Not just the introductory meeting, but your daily stand up. Set very clear posted expectations, right? Come up with a communication cadence with your leader too, so they know maybe it's a report card every week, maybe it's a status report every month, whatever it is. Make sure you're reporting up how the team is doing and you're communicating with those in your downline about what they should be doing. That's the best way in this situation where you're running a support team in this example to simply communicate. All right, module 3 in Supervisor Bootcamp is you're a player coach. In being a supervisor, you're still kind of proving yourself. So that means you're still boots on ground. And, nobody's saying, oh, well, she's a supervisor now, she doesn't work. Nope, that's not the impression you want to make. You are working alongside your people to show them that you're the expert and the authority, but also you remember how to do the business that you were promoted for in the first place. But then you're also the person that does people leadership, which no one likes to do. You're also doing reports, audits, etc., things that they don't want to do. So there's a healthy amount of respect there for them knowing that you are doing stuff that isn't easy, and it's leadership only, and it's not something to be taken lightly. But you have to be balanced, right? You are now a leader, but you're also a trainer coach, but you're also a strong worker. So you're going to help everyone succeed to make you look good and hopefully get you promoted one day. So here's another example. Let's say you're a supervisor in a warehouse. So your job is to make sure that the work gets done, shipments go out, nothing gets broken, etc. So keep on using the forklift, right? Don't say, well, this is all beneath me now. No, nothing's beneath you. Keep loading, keep offering coaching and safety, keep doing what you're doing, and even showing that you can train people, You're training the new dock worker, you're training the new operator, whatever it is. You're doing everything, but you're also carrying around a clipboard. You're doing the business, you're doing the reports, you're doing the audits, etc. But you're working alongside them too, so they see that you are a player coach. Okay, module 4 for Supervisor Bootcamp is you have to be good at sandwich management. Huh? No, this is nothing about lunch. We just talked about leading up in a recent episode. So as a supervisor, you're sandwiched between the people doing the work under you and also the one whose neck is on the line for you getting your job done, which is your manager. So it's managing that sandwich relationship that is so important, keeping the people beneath you happy and the ones above you happy. So that means you're reporting problems, but you're also reporting wins. You're being very clear and very timely on what needs to be done, on how it's being done, if there's any issues. You also want to be able to defend your people, but not be defensive about it. Don't push anybody in front of the bus, I always say. There's going to be an episode coming up soon about how to defend people without being defensive. That's a whole topic in itself. But mainly, show the people that you're supporting them, but you also have the back of your leader. So again, this means you're managing the sandwich. So here's an example. Let's say you're a supervisor at a factory, and let's say you do safety inspections. So you make sure that people are always already aware of the safety expectations with things that are posted, with trainings, whatever, so they know how to be safe. This is nothing new. But you're going to share the results of your inspections with your people and the manager. So they're going to know ahead of time, okay, we're not doing great in this area. It's being reported, so just so you know, there's going to be a push to make sure we're all wearing protective headgear or whatever. That way everyone's in the loop. You are keeping everybody posted. No one feels like you're a one-sided manager. You are sandwich management. And finally, module 5 in Supervisor Bootcamp, HR skills. I know, yuck. Everybody take a minute to go, ooh. But you've got to take every training. You've got to read their manuals. You've got to be ready to make sure you're avoiding everything that could get you in trouble with HR. HR mistakes can derail a good young leader. Nothing can end your career early like a bad HR mistake. That sounds like things like conflict resolution, things that you can and can't say, how to fire someone, making schedules, compensation planning, etc. Take this part very, very seriously because this is specifically what your company wants you to do and say to be HR compliant. Here's an example. Let's say you're a supervisor in food service. You were a great back of house worker, but now you're a supervisor, so you're running things as well. Let's say the dishwasher is having a fist fight with a table buster. If any of you have worked in food service, you know this is not an outlandish scenario. Should you go break them up? Do they get fired on the spot? Do they get sent home? You call the police? What do you say? Like, these are all things that are outlined in your company's specific HR training. That's why you need to make sure you know exactly how they want you to handle these things. Instinct doesn't always match with the stated best practices and codes of conduct from your company, so make sure you're schooled up on those things so you don't get caught. Okay, so those are your 5 modules for the Supervisor Bootcamp. I've got one final thought though. Getting the transition right from individual contributor to supervisor, which is usually the first step in getting into leadership, is so important. Being trained from the beginning sets the stage. You know what they say? You only get one chance to make a good first impression, right? So this is how you're able to then in the future get promoted to new levels and advance in your career the way you want to. This is how you level up your leadership. If you're not able to have a more formalized training, might I suggest the Boss Coach podcast. Every other episode that we have speaks to leaders at all levels. It's quick. My episodes are 15 and 20 minutes, and it's free. Can't beat that price. So I would say to continue to develop your skills as a supervisor, to go to that next level, listen to the Boss Coach podcast. I'm telling you, it's a great resource, and this is why I do it. So, in summary, do a good transition, have good communication, be a player coach, exercise sandwich management, and mind your HR skills. You know, I had previous leadership experience, of course, before I got to my current company, but here I started at the individual contributor level and worked my way up. So let's kind of trace that arc and see how I made the jump from what I was doing to supervisor and then on further in my job to show how I grew using this exact track. So for the transition, when I became a supervisor, I changed desks. I set up touch bases with my people. It got announced to the company, so it was very clear that I was now the supervisor. For communication, I started daily stand-ups, but I was also right there in the pit with them. So I'm talking over cube walls. I'm talking across desks at all time to make sure there's good communication. Player coach, I was also doing the work as well as supervising their work. So we were all doing the same thing hand in hand. For sandwich management, I did daily reporting to my leader. I made sure credit was given where credit was due, made sure both sides were happy. And for HR, boy, I went to every training. I reread manuals. I had really good rapport with the HR rep too, which I recommend. But I had also learned some of these skills in previous leadership. I knew how important it was to get the HR aspect right, so don't overlook that. Other than all that, here's what you can do right now to help get your supervisor skills in line. Now, if you're a leader currently, I would say mentor your own supervisor. And if you don't have your own supervisor that works under you, reach out to a different one in the company and just offer help. Do you need mentoring? Do you need advice? Do you need a second set of eyes on something? Do you need a second set of ears on something? Whatever it might be, how can you be of help to another supervisor? Or even forward this episode to somebody else that you know that's maybe struggling or getting ready to be a supervisor and see if there's any help to them. And if you're not a leader yet, I want you to write up your transition plan for when you get promoted. Go through these 5 modules and write down exactly how you will execute it so when you do get the call that you're going up to the big leagues, you're ready to do it. So, supervisors, I believe in you. I know you can make it through. Now that you've gone through boot camp, you are ready to get started and be a successful leader and help you level up through the rest of your leadership journey. So, thank you for your time. I'm Patrick McGranahan, the Boss Coach. Make sure to thumbs up and follow so you get notice of new episodes. And hey, I wouldn't mind if you share my episodes with friends too. Help spread the word. I really appreciate it. That's how I'm growing now. And it's all because of you. And I'm very grateful. So send your comments as well. What would you like to hear me talk about in the future? Do you want to be a guest on future episodes? I'm not opposed to that. Hit me up. So until then, I will see you next time on The Boss Coach. Back to work, boss.
Hello.
Yeah, she was just walking down the street singing do-a-dee-dee-dee-dee-dum.
Thank you for joining us today for The Boss Coach, hosted by Patrick McGranahan. We'd also like to thank our associate producer Hannah and consulting contributor Stephanie. Original music provided by Sono AI Studio. All statements and opinions by our host and guests are solely their own observations and may not reflect those of their contemporaries or employers. Please check out other episodes of The Boss Coach for more valuable opportunities to level up your leadership. Until next time, I am your announcer, Ava. Have a great day, and as always, lead with your heart.